Hiya, I hope you're having a nice weekend. Today I'm going to do a really glam makeup using all high street makeup bits. So none of these are going to break the bank, but they still come out really lovely. I'm going to start with the Ordinary Serum Foundation. Now, my skin is a little bit more red than usual because I've not long had a shower. So I'm just going to take a thin layer of this all over and then go back in and build the coverage in the areas that I know I'm slightly more prone to the redness showing through. But the nice thing with this serum foundation, I actually bought this at the start of lockdown back in the day just to see what it was like, and it feels really, really light, but it still gives you like a fair amount of coverage. So lots of people I speak to, for example, might have areas of redness but the rest of their skin feels fine, and it feels almost like a waste to have something really full coverage everywhere for the sake of just wanting to cover a few patches of the redness. Now I'm just going to look over my screen for a moment and make sure it's nice and evenly buffed in my mirror, because having it looking nice on my phone is one thing, but ultimately the goal is for it to look great in real life. And what I'm going to do, as you can see, I've been taking just like the excess across my eyelids. I'm going to be using some loose pigments for this makeup look. So once I've finished, I'm going to take a little bit on a blending brush of translucent powder. This is the Peaches translucent powder. And I'm just going to prep these eyelids ready for the pigments that are going to go on top of them. Now I'm also going to use some loose pigments from Peaches, and I think if you've got any loose pigments, one of the key things is, first of all, I would pat them really into the brush using the lid or the back of your hand, and the other thing is prep your eyes. Now there's all kinds of sealants that you can use for this. I find a little bit of translucent powder does as good a job as any, so that's what I'm going to go in with. Before I go in with my kind of pigments and things, I'm actually going to do a tiny bit of brow pencil. This is the number 7 Beautiful Eyebrow Pencil. I've not used this one before, so let's hope for the best. This was one that my friend Cher recommended. So I'm going to run this through. That's come out quite dark for me, but you know what? It's nice to mix things up a bit sometimes, isn't it? As you can see, there's a really harsh line there. Don't worry about it. That's where the spoolie comes in. Lots of eyebrow pencils have these on the end. Look how much better that looks. Or like if your pencil doesn't have one of those, the next time you finish your mascara, just keep the wand and wash it clean, and you can use that to brush your product through your brows, or even if you're not wearing product, but you just want to brush them up and keep them nice and groomed. Again, you've got the harsh line there. I'm not going to worry about it. You see, you could take all day putting it on in the way that you don't get the harsh line in the first place. Or if you're like me and you just want your makeup on nice and quickly, can just throw it on and let the spoolie do the blending for you. So that is the option I'm always going to choose. Okay, so brand new Peaches pigment to show you today. This is Honeymoon, which is a really lovely soft, what kind of, I suppose I'd call it like a honey gold. And I'm going to take this on a flat brush. Now, ideally, in an ideal world, to be honest with you, if you're working with loose pigments, I probably would always do your eyes first and then do your base, because then you can just pack them on and not worry if there's any drop down, wipe it clean, carry on with the rest of your makeup. However, for me, I just know that if I'd left my redness there, it's too distracting. And actually, to be honest with you, another argument I would have, just to completely contradict myself now, in favour of doing your base first, is that sometimes your eyes can feel really, really heavy when you haven't got your base on. And then when you have got your base on, in the context of the whole makeup, your eyes can feel absolutely fine. So as you can see, I'm taking this all over the lid, just up to the natural crease. It's a beautiful, beautiful colour. If you've not tried the Peaches Pigments before, they are probably one of the best cost-effective pigments on the market, and they are without a doubt my favourite pigments, going in with the Peaches bronzer through the socket. They're incredible. No other pigments are as fine with as rich colour payoff. If you search for like the Peaches hashtags on Instagram, you'll just be blown away by, like, there's so many self-taught makeup artists in particular that use them. And the creativity is just unreal. So do have a little mooch. Right, I'm doing my usual trick. You know I always do this. A bit of bronzer through the sockets. See, even that, you could leave it at that as like a nice soft little makeup. But I've got, I believe, 9 minutes left and I intend to use them. So I'm absolutely not going to do that. I'm going to go in with a little bit of hustle in these corners. In fact, before I do that, going in with a little bit of Wild West. You know, I like these kinds of colours, the little coppery ones. I'm going to take that on a pencil brush. Again, I'm packing this onto my hand first so that I'm pressing the product into the brush so that it's hopefully not going to drop all down my face. And I'm going to take this under the waterline because I want a nice little smoky smoker sun for myself today. I'm going to do the same on the other side with the pencil brush. Now, one of the things, if you've ever had your makeup done at Peaches, as well, just in case you weren't aware, I learned makeup at Peaches. I went to uni in Liverpool and I worked at Peaches while I was there. Some of the best times of my life. Absolutely love them. I've stayed in touch with all the girls. We're still great friends. It's just the best place ever. If you're ever in Liverpool, I'd really recommend you to pop in. But one of the things you'll know if you've ever had your makeup done at Peaches is there's this middle phase that we're in now where you're like, what is this going to look like? But if you just bear with it and have a bit of faith, it will end up being absolutely lovely. So I'm just asking you to trust me on this one. Now, I'm taking a little bit of that along that lash line. I am going to do a little smoky in the corner as well, but for now, I'm just going to make sure that isn't quite even. One of the great things about keeping your eyes open when you do a smoky eye is that the shape can look really different when you are closing your eye and doing your lids as opposed to looking straight on into your mirror. So I'd always recommend you to do that. I'm going to take a little bit of Pixie Endless Silky Eye Pen to just frame the eyes here because I need to see what's going on before I continue doing anything with the eyes. And you know what, I'm running out of time, so I might carry on from here and then go back and finish the eyes at the end. I don't know if you follow David Horn, and if you don't, you definitely should. He's a fantastic makeup artist. He has the school, the House of Glam Dolls in London. One of his tips he teaches all his students. I'm going to go in with my L'Oreal mascara, by the way, Lash Paradise, fantastic mascara, high street again, and I think it's much better than a lot of the expensive ones I've tried. What David Horn teaches his students is finish then finesse. So let's just say you were under pressure at Fashion Week, you had millions of models to get through, let's say. You want everyone to have some bit of makeup on, and then, you know, if you've got time afterwards, that's when you can be making it perfect. And I think it's such great advice for us to follow day to day. Like, do I want to be spending 25 minutes getting my eyes on? No, not really. I'd rather just get my whole face on, zhuzh my eyes at the end if and when I've got the extra time. But ultimately, if I needed to be out the door in 15 minutes, I still want to feel like I've done a really nice job on my makeup. Okay, new from in fact, no, I've got a bit of eye on. I'm just going to set everything with some translucent powder really, really quickly. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of bronzing powder all over, well, in certain areas. This is a Peaches brush as well. I'm going to take a little bit of bronzer all through that hairline, a little bit down here. I'm trying to speed this up now because there's a load of bits I still want to show you. And then we've got brand new Peaches cream blushes that just arrived yesterday. It's my first time trying these. There's a coral shade and more of like a dusky pink. So I'm going to take a little flush of the coral to just liven up my cheeks. I'm pressing really gently on that. Lovely. I'm going to go in with some Peaches liner in Feline. I already had some lip balm on, by the way. So that kind of softens the colour that you'll see. There we go. And then a little bit of Doll Beauty Lippy. This is My Love. Nice kind of peachy colour again to go with that blusher. Now I've got a few minutes and I want to jazz up the eyes a bit more, so I'm going in with a tiny bit of pigment in Hustle. Right, I've put too much on my hand, so I'm going to go back, get a nice gentle amount on this fluffy brush. This is Amy Connolly's, the Taperer brush. I was just looking at it thinking it must be new because I haven't used it that often. That is also available in Boots and it's very new to my collection, but a fantastic, lovely little fluffy brush. Okay, so see how I've just added a tiny bit more drama to that. I'm going to do the same on the other side, taking it through that natural crease and up quite high, to be fair. And then I've got, how many, 2 more minutes. I'm going to get a set of lashes on in that time. I've already pre-trimmed them. It's Peaches number 2s with a bit of Doll Beauty glue. That is the best lash glue you'll ever get yourself, the Doll Beauty glue. It's available in clear and in black. The black can be really handy for when you want to give like the look of a liner as well. Now, I usually would have always done a liquid line along that lash line, and it's unusual for me to not to have, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to put a tiny bit of Gatsby pigment on. I named this, and I never let them forget it. I absolutely love Gatsby. It's like a champagne shimmer. So I'm going to, I mean, look at that on my hand. Anyway, I'm going to put a tiny bit of this on the centre of the lids. And I mean so tiny the amount I'm putting on, because I don't want it to all fall down on top of my mascara and my base and things. In fact, if you see how I'm doing this, I'm pressing my brush upwards so that nothing drops down, to the best of my ability. I've got 45 seconds now. Let's get these lashes on. Peaches number 2s. I'm getting them right to the base. And the glue will still appear clear to you. I mean, white, but it will dry completely clear. I don't think I've done too badly for 15 minutes here, have I? Now, I hope you enjoyed. I'll put links to everything in the description box, but it's all high street available or high street prices, but you order online. And there we have it, just in time. I'll talk to you soon. Have a nice weekend.